ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the opening ceremony of awarding the Honorary Degree Excellence in Leadership Award. Dear President of UBT, Professor Dr. Edmond Hayrizi, dear Mr. Tony Clement, Canadian politician and public figure, dear professors, UBT staff members, students, and all present. This event is organized by UBT, which through the Honorary Degree Excellence in Leadership Award honors distinguished individuals who contribute in various ways around the world. Today we have the honor of adding another highly significant figure to this distinguished list. Before we start, let me present a short biography of Mr. Tony Clement. Mr. Clement has served with integrity and vision in some of the highest positions in Canada's federal government, including as Minister of Health, Minister of Industry, and President of the Treasury Board in Prime Minister Harper's cabinet. Under his leadership, Canada's first national pandemic plan was drafted, the Canadian Partnership Against Cancer was established, and the Mental Health Commission was created, initiatives that directly contributed to improvements in Canada's healthcare system and mental well-being. As Minister of Industry, he led the development of Canada's digital strategy and later on the Open Data Initiative, positioning Canada as a leader in the Open Government Partnership. Moreover, he played a key role in saving Canada's auto manufacturing sector through successful negotiations with Chrysler and GM unions and the US government, securing economic stability and thousands of jobs. His contributions also extend to the provincial level in Ontario, where as Minister of Health and Long-Term Care during the 2003 SARS crisis, he demonstrated resolve and leadership in managing public health emergencies. He has also served as Minister of Transportation, Minister of the Environment, and Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. Beyond public life, Mr. Clement is an active entrepreneur in the fields of information technology and healthcare, a board member and a strategic advisor with influence at both national and international levels. He's also a prominent media voice, hosting the daily television program Boom and Bust, a weekly podcast and a monthly radio show exploring issues in economics, technology, and national security. With this award, UBT recognizes not only Mr. Clement's outstanding contributions in the fields of innovation, health, and good governance, but also his role in fostering connections between Canada and international communities, including Kosovo. UBT values his unwavering commitment to building international cooperation and promoting visionary leadership, both essential for the sustainable development of modern societies. Now it's time to invite the Director of UBT, Professor Dr. Edmond Hayrizi.
Thank you very much. Good morning, distinguished guest, dear and highly respected Mr. Tony Clement. Thank you for coming. It's our honor to host you today here at UBT campus and in our library. Honorable vice rectors, deans, professors, students, dear friends and visitors. As you see, and based on the, let's say, introduction of our colleague, we have today a great honor to have Mr. Tony Clement here, a great personality with a lot of experiences, with a lot of impacts and contribution in different parts. When we go through the CV, this is as a kind of ecosystem approach, a personalized based innovation-based ecosystem, because dealing with health, dealing with infrastructure, with public policy, with energy, with finance, and you see those functions are very trustable for people who can do it, because it's very much depend also on the satisfaction of citizens on this part. So I think they decided, because they confirmed this this part, and this is very much easy for us also to come to the decision of Academic Council to award and use the opportunities that Mr. Clement is here to award with our highest degree, honor degree called Excellence in Leadership. So we consider that we have to bring more in front and make more visible the attribution, the leadership attribution to different personalities globally, to young generation, to future generation, to consider how a role model of leadership looks like, and to thank for this contribution on behalf of global citizens, on behalf of UBT and on behalf of students and staff for the contribution, because this make the global more, let's say, increase the growth, increase the quality of life, increasing as resilience, and in this case, as when you increase the growth and stability and so on, you can also contribute to the peace. And I think this is very, very important. Canada play a great role in this stability and peace, in democratic values, in the framework of cooperation. Canada is contributing a lot on this democratic side. As the Canada recognized Kosovo, Canada has contributed a lot to support Kosovo in development on this, let's say, newborn nation state building process we did through different projects, different programs, and different interaction. And as you know, Canada is also known for this positioning with a mindset of innovation, especially in the last, let's say, 10 years, 15 years. There is a positioning to make Canada very proactive in innovation, entrepreneurship, in digitalization. And as we saw, Minister Clement was always on the front of those transformation to really invest, to focus, and to make Canada great in the point of innovation. We consider this. We have a lot of interest to continue the cooperation. We saw a very good best practice of university in Canada. I had some visit and some contact with different institutions. Really, they are great. They are good. And they are, of course, Canada is big. We are small. We can be an antenna of Canada in the sense of science, research, smart, self-sustained, and so on. But the problems are the same in the sense of the global issues, and it would be very nice to increase this partnerity and collaboration in order to generate more values. And Kosovo is a placement for democracy. I think we promote the Euro-Atlantic values very much. We believe on it, we trust, we have a passion to be more integrated. And of course, this is also the reason why we established the UBT to move and to support this development of society with the right competences and with the right knowledge and policy design. So in this case, it's a great honor. Thank you for confirmation. Thank you for your time. I think you will be now member of our alumni, member of our community, and we will continue to cooperate and make more things happen globally. So, but also using your advice to transform us, to develop, and to do things before us. I don't want to keep very long time because I wanted to give the floor to Mr. Tony Clement. But before this, of course, we wanted to award our honor degree, and if you can help me this, I would continue with also inviting Mr. Clement for this.
Well, Dr. Honorable Rector, thank you so much, and all of you, thank you so much for being here. It's certainly my honor to be among you and to receive this prestigious honorary degree, my first honorary degree. Hopefully, this is a good sign of my connection now with the university here and all that you're doing to accomplish. As you can see, I have a mustache now, so I'm sure with a little bit of AI, we can fix that next time I'm here. But I do appreciate the honor and your very, very kind words. It feels like home already to be here. This awarding of an honorary degree allows me to reflect a little bit on my life in politics and in business and in civil society. And people, when you have completed 25 years in politics, which I did, people do ask you, how did you think about yourself in the political world? And for me, the answer was very easy, that I always considered myself a change agent, that I considered myself an entrepreneur always. Before I was elected to Parliament, I was an entrepreneur. After I left Parliament, I'm still an entrepreneur. And my time in Parliament, in cabinet, and all of my executive responsibilities, I considered that I was still an entrepreneur, that was, I wanted to be there not to protect the status quo, but to actually be a change agent for my country. So that's how I did it. And one thing that happened early on when I was sworn in as health minister, then they swear you in, there's a ceremony, then the deputy minister takes you to your office. You've never been in that office before, usually. I looked around and I said, well, the first thing that's got to change is I don't need a desk. And they kind of looked at me very funny, but I said, I've got this. Like, I don't actually need a desk. A desk can be a barrier between you and the person that you're speaking with. And so I took the desk out. I arranged a series of chairs and a meeting table, more or less a coffee table, and I would have my meetings a little bit less formally, more dynamic, just because the desk wasn't there. And to me, that was a kind of a symbol of a difference in approach that I was seeking to make as a Minister of Health. Because in Canada, you don't normally keep your job for a long time in politics, and I was shuffled, as we call it. I was transferred from being Minister of Health to Minister of Industry. So I walk into my Minister of Industry's office, and they said, "Do you want to keep the desk?" And I said, "No, I want the desk gone," just like when I was Health Minister. And they said, "Well, this desk was actually used by the Minister of Industry during the Second World War. It's a very famous man named C.D. Howe, and he basically led the war effort for Canada in the Second World War, which was quite substantial." And I thought, well, in this case, I'm going to keep the desk. So I tried to be flexible that way. I wanted to give you a little bit of a sense of a couple of my accomplishments and what it meant in terms of innovation. And the two I chose were mentioned by the rector, the Canadian Partnership Against Cancer and the Mental Health Commission of Canada. And maybe this would be a surprise to you, but because we have a federal system in Canada, a lot of the responsibility and roles in certain areas are with the provinces, not with the national government. But we are still a country, and Canadians do expect that regardless of where they live in the country, there are certain basic things that are available to them as Canadians. After all, they pay taxes, and when it comes to healthcare in particular, something so vital and important, they want to make sure they have access to those things. So I created these two national institutions, the Canadian Partnership Against Cancer and the Mental Health Commission of Canada, to innovate, to create a center of innovation nationally, what we call a pan-Canadian approach, connecting all these different health systems that we have in our country, and more importantly, connecting the researchers, the clinicians, the patient groups to actually coordinate, for example, with cancer prevention, screening, diagnosis, and care. And we also made sure that it was data-driven, that this was a data-driven series of decisions. Create a cancer strategy to improve data sharing, drive an outcomes-based policy, also make it more equitable, targeted initiatives for underserved populations, including, of course, in Canada, we have Indigenous communities and rural Canadians. Digital health integration is another area. Develop the digital tools to support patient-centered care. And knowledge translation, rapid dissemination of best practices and clinical guidelines across jurisdictions. And this probably sounds very familiar to you, Rector, because I know that this university excels in these areas. So as a result of those initiatives with the Canadian Partnership Against Cancer, we had improved cancer screening rates, reduced variation in care across provinces, and much improved national coordination, which included during COVID-19, being able to assess the pandemic's impact on cancer services and so on. Similarly, in the same year, I created the Mental Health Commission to create a national mental health strategy, which was created in 2012. It was the first national mental health strategy. One of the innovations was a housing first model for people, make sure that we had housing this was experimented in 5 cities to deal with homelessness as a first step, because it's hard to deal with addictions and mental health issues with the homeless population. So create the housing first and then deal with the issues. Workplace mental health, and again, another underserviced area. Develop a national standard for psychological health and safety in the workplace, very important. And of course, stigma reduction, an Open Minds initiative to target stigma on mental health issues in schools, healthcare, workplace, and media. And finally, a youth engagement strategy, because of course, with our young people, mental health and mental wellness continues to be a struggle. So all of these things helped mental health reforms, improved outcomes, and policy changes. So I think that both of these illustrate how you can be innovative in healthcare and more generally in public policy. Arm's length governance doesn't have to be run out of the health minister's office. Strong partnerships with communities, long-term focus on systems change and population health. All of these things became a blueprint for further action by future governments. And so when I look back upon my life as a health minister and then later as industry minister, Mr. Rector, you mentioned the digital strategy and the open data strategy. Again, these things hadn't been done before, but again, they were served as a catalyst for change and for new thinking in government. And if any of you this may be surprising to some of you, but sometimes getting new thinking in government doesn't always happen. I know that might be a surprise, but we have to forge ahead, and we have to think in new ways and come up with new solutions, which is precisely why being here at UBT, it's such an honor to be here, because I know that that's really your mandate as well. new solutions, thinking in different ways to come up with new strategies, and also, as importantly, results-driven demands for results-driven data. So important, so that you can not only aspire to change, but you can actually measure that change. I know that that's something that UBT feels very strongly about. And so, in conclusion, I just want to say what an honor it is to be here, to be part of your community. I'm certainly looking forward to be another person in Canada that you can rely upon, that we can do some wonderful things together. And so for me, this is not the culmination of anything. It's really the start of something very, very special. And I thank you very much.
Our guest here. If not, maybe because today is a ceremonial event.
Sure.
So thank you very much. Thank you for
last
coming.
chance. All right, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.